Hello, Sagittarians. How y'all doing? Here is your reading for October 2017. As I'm sure a lot of you have been informed by YouTube and other forms of social media and the internet, that Jupiter, your ruling planet, is going to be moving into your 12th house, into Scorpio. First card out, the Tower. So, what does that mean? 12th house is that house. It's the Pisces house. It's the Neptune house. It's the house, it's that place where our subconscious lives, that place where our unconscious lives, that place where things hidden are, the ways in which we imprison ourselves, the ways in which we sort of suffer spiritually in the name of spiritual growth and development. And it's more of like the mental prison, right? It's that psychological, that the mental suffering and torture that we sort of can put ourselves through. And it can also represent imprisonment, right? Physical imprisonment as well. So with Jupiter being there, there is definitely sort of Jupiter being a beneficial planet. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Three of Pentacles. So, for me, the Three of Pentacles represents work being done sort of underground. Work being done in areas or arenas that cannot really be seen. Sorry, getting text messages about work. So this, to me, represents sort of work or sort of foundations, new foundations being created and being built. And, a lot of people have really been sort of focusing on the effects this is going to have on Scorpio, but I really feel that Jupiter being your ruling planet, it's still incredibly potent for you as Jupiter moves, right? And especially if you're a Sagittarius rising like myself, this is also going to be very important for you, this transit, because Jupiter is your ascendant ruler. It's our chart ruler, right? As Sag risings, Jupiter sort of sees over our entire chart. So wherever Jupiter is in your individual chart, really look out for the changes and for areas in that part of your life or that part of your chart to really be sort of accentuated right now, right? Jupiter is about expansion and growth and bringing good luck and positivity. So I do see good things coming, right, to you in your 12th house, right? So there could potentially be, old foundations, old things, but it doesn't mean that it's, we're still in Scorpio, right? So, which can have a harshness to it. It can have a suddenness to it that's uncomfortable. And so as Jupiter sort of goes into your 12th house and is sort of bringing good luck or blessings to that area, there is at the same time this need to sort of clean out or sort of wash away parts of your psyche that no longer really serve you. But in doing that, there is, to be an immediate sort of rebuilding of a more positive and steady foundation when it comes to your psychology, when it comes to your belief in what can be possible, right? Because 12th house, when we think of Pisces, I think of a sign, I think of the archetype of Pisces as being the great believer, the sign that always believes when nobody else does, right? So with Jupiter being there, really believing in yourself or spiritual values, spiritual practice, spiritual teachings that maybe you've been grappling with, new understanding of those spiritual teachings, new belief in those spiritual teachings as well as Jupiter moves in there. Okay, King of Wands, there you are. It seems like y'all are like ready to go about something. So let's see what else is going on for Sagittarius. This is what we have so far for Sagittarius. Yeah. 8 of Cups. A new journey is to begin. For a lot of you, walking away from this fire sign, right? There's a fire sign here. Or a fiery energy, very dominant energy. A Leo, another Sagittarius, or an Aries. And I believe that there's some kind of an awakening regarding the foundations that you have with this person. And the realization that this is not fulfilling me. This is not feeding me psychologically or spiritually, right? That sometimes, we have to walk away from things because they don't fulfill us spiritually, right? If you're on a spiritual path and you're fucking with somebody who isn't really interested in understanding the same principles that you might live your life by, or that you sort of choose to believe in. Don't mind all my stuff. Sorry. I've been, in true Sagittarius fashion, I've been spending this month moving around from place to place and hanging out with different friends and sort of couch surfing. I'm in between places right now. So, and of course, because I'm a Sag rising, I enjoy that. I feel like a little explorer. So this is my duffel bag with all my shit. So don't mind it. But yeah, I do, there's this person here. There's something that you've built with this person, but it wasn't created on a sturdy foundation. And, what happens when, a part of our chart, right, where Scorpio lives is activated, right, is that, Scorpio comes in and wants to sort of destroy, but also rebirth and regenerate, right? People have to remember that Scorpios are also regenerators. They're generators. They're very good at rebirthing, and walking you through that process as well. So what else is coming up for Sagittarius for October 2017? Yeah, so if you're a Sag rising, this is really important for us as well, because Jupiter is our chart ruler. So being really mindful of that. The World, Ace of Wands, and the Sun. Okay. And the Knight of Cups. And the Star at the bottom of the deck. Potentially could be an Aquarius hanging out around you. And, when the Star shows up for me, it really represents Aquarian energy that is sort of operating in its highest good, or with the best qualities of within that Aquarian archetype, right? So the Star representing hopes and dreams, and really optimism for the future, seeing the bright side of the future, having hope for the future, having hope for all your dreams, and also the healing energy, right? Like the Star also is the great healer. And not a healer on an individual basis, but a healer on a societal, sort of more on a mass scale kind of basis, which is what Aquarians kind of, the Aquarian archetype aims to be: the societal healer, wants to heal the wounds of society by moving and progressing forward and having optimism and hope that things can change, right? So definitely could represent an Aquarius in your midst who's really sort of helping you, have faith in your own visions, have faith in your own beliefs at this time, and to have faith in, you know, where your hopes and beliefs can take you in the future. And it can also just represent your own faith and belief in what it is that you're trying to create for yourself, right? So like I mentioned before, I definitely feel that, you know, this Tower card was the first card out. So it's the general energy. It's the general kind of gist of what's going on with you all. And, you know, your planet's moving. Jupiter's moving, right? Jupiter's kind of, on October 10th, Jupiter will make that transition, but we're already feeling the vibrations of that. And I said in the Scorpio video, you know, and I heard this in another video that I was watching just for myself, and it was stating that even though we're in Libra season, it's feeling very kind of, we're getting the intensity of Scorpio season already, right? And I also mentioned that, you know, I work in the mountains, and usually I work way up in the mountains, like at high elevation. And usually it doesn't start snowing up there until maybe mid-October. It's already snowing. Like, we already had 2 inches of snow. We already, like, got our first tracks in the snow. So it's just like the weather's already feeling really intense already up where I work at. And it usually is still supposed to be kind of warm, where I live, and it's not. So things are changing over and transforming very quickly is what it feels like. So, you know, for you all with this Tower card, is that there are some unexpected changes. There are, you know, some foundations that are definitely being sort of taken into question, right? Like, is, you know, and because Jupiter's just leaving your 11th house, right? That there was a lot of growth and development and expansion with group organizations and friendships and people that you sort of, people that you have, you know, associates and benefactors and, you know, all of the, like, you know, relationships and connections that are more group oriented and are not so much based in emotional attachment, but more so in friendship, right? So now we're going into this 12th house area. And, so, you know, Jupiter just finished expanding there, right? And sort of blessing you in this area. And so now there is this new blessing in your 12th house of letting go of things that may not be working for you psychologically, but also embracing things that do work for you in your 12th house, right? Like Jupiter, like I said before, is a beneficial planet. It's a planet that, you know, wherever it's at in your chart, it's gonna help you out. And being Sagittarius, that's your ruling planet. I think I've said that 5 times now. But there are also really beautiful things to sort of embrace about your 12th house. You know, like we have the world here. And the world to me, you know, not only represents the ending of, you know, sort of cycles, right? As being a very Saturn, you know, this is what happens when we learn the lessons from Saturn, right? As we gain this sort of freedom. But it's also this, you know, belief that whatever imprisonment, like Jupiter aims to sort of go into your 12th house and sort of break down whatever, you know, barbed wire fences or whatever sort of chain link fences or, you know, prison bars that you've sort of built for yourself psychologically, right? How have you sort of confined your idea of, you know, your success, or how have you sort of defined your idea of, you know, what sort of mental, psychological, limitations have you placed on yourself? And Jupiter kind of wants to kind of expose those. I do also feel that this does sort of speak about a person who, you know, the foundations that you've had with this person, right, are not really based in something sturdy. It's not sturdy. And there's a realization that's coming in this month about this person, right? And then there's this sort of, I need to walk away. I can't do this anymore with this person. because there's a recognition that, you know, how it started or how it began was not really based on something substantial. Sorry for the different narratives. That's just what I'm picking up on. So yeah, as we have Jupiter moving into your 12th house, you know, Jupiter wants to break down and wants to sort of expand upon and tear away any limitations that you created for yourself in your 12th house, right? And there's newness there. There's new inspiration. Could perhaps be new philosophical or religious or spiritual ideas. New opportunities in that area, right? In that 9th house area, because Jupiter is also, you know, the ruling planet, is also ruled by the 9th house, as are you. But let's get some more information about this World card. And then I also do want to kind of filter out what's happening up here. Because what I'm feeling, there's two sort of different things happening, but I want clarification for the World card. Can I get clarity for the World, please? Why is the World here for Sagittarius? Why is the World? Okay. Yeah, the Death card, another major arcana. Y'all have some pretty strong major arcanas going for you all right now. So we have this Death card here. Yeah, it's the ending of old ways of navigating your 12th house that need to die. Old parts of yourself. It's like in Jupiter's expansion of that 12th house for you all, you also end up sort of having the ability to break through and to get to the other side. Sorry, computer froze again. I'm having some technology issues always and forever. I was gonna say lately, but I was like, that's a lie. I always have issues with my computer. So yeah, the World and the Death card. There are just some parts about yourself in your 12th house that you're gonna have to tease out as Jupiter, as your ruling planet, as a part of you moves into Scorpio, and asks that you sort of, it's like you have the Tower and the Death card. Super, super Scorpio, this transformative energy, this sort of, this destroying things to rebuild them, right? And I think a lot of this is also surrounding sort of how you're navigating relationships as well. We have this Knight of Cups here at the end, and so I think there is a lot, and we've also got Saturn in your sign still, right? And like I've mentioned before, a lot of the friends that I have in my peer group who are in their Saturn's return right now, that were born when Saturn was in Sagittarius, a lot of what's coming up for them is commitment, right? And their willingness to sort of restrict their desire to be limitless and to have no limits, right? Whether that's to have multiple partners, or to never commit and move on from one partner to the next, or to travel constantly, or to just Saturn is asking people that have that placement, really, and Sagittarians and Geminis as well, like, where are your commitments? Where are you willing to draw lines and to create boundaries and restrictions, right? And so I feel that that a lot of what's also happening here has to do with working through some psychological issues, working through some hang-ups regarding relationships, and the things that subconsciously get in the way of you having a fulfilling relationship. That even the notion that, you know, and even challenging, right? Because Sagittarius, like Gemini, can sort of also be on this notion that the grass is greener. And sometimes this card for me can read as a grass is greener type of card, right? And for Sagittarius, it's more of a like, you know, I don't want to limit what I've seen in the world. I don't want to limit myself to this one person, or I don't want to limit myself to this one situation. And then you end up walking away from cups that have already been filled. And I know that I'm kind of backtracking on what I originally said, that this might not have been as fulfilling, and that there was some cracks in the foundation with this person. So walking away was necessary. But you know, I also feel sometimes that some of you can get a little bit lofty, right, in your ideals regarding relationships or the type of person you should be with, and that, you know, it's I don't want to say it's not good enough, but yeah, it's not good enough, you know. And again, even after I shuffled for the death card, we still have the star on the bottom, you know. And what came to me when I saw that on the bottom was that a lot of you have done a lot of work regarding, you know, developing relationships and in your community circles, and so there's sort of been a mastery, so to speak, of that, right? And that's great. But Scorpio is, you know, community, friendships, being able to connect with people on a community level, on a friendship level that's not so much about attachment, is great. And it's also an area that flows really well for Sagittarius, for Aquarians. And I said this before, I do feel that Aquarians and Sagittarians have a lot in common. Those two archetypes, for me, have a lot in common. And I think for me, also being an Aquarius sun and a Sag rising, like the line between my sun and my rising sign can get very blurred sometimes, to where I'm like, is this my sun acting out or my rising sign, right? Or something else, who knows? But you know, now we're in now Jupiter's in Scorpio, right? Now Jupiter is in Scorpio in your 12th house. So things are going to get a little bit more intimate. The issues are going to get a little bit more intimate. Scorpio is about how we merge with our partners, with other people on an emotional, soul-based kind of level. It's like how do I merge, right, with another person? So, you know, there needs to be a shift in the cycle. There needs to be a death of this, of a cycle, right? There needs to be freedom. And you know, the way in which we kind of gain freedom psychologically is when we learn to sort of kill off or cut off parts of our psyche that aren't working for us, right? Like there's no, well, like maybe I can let it, you know, maybe 3 days a week, like I can engage in whatever, you know, this is trying to chop down. No, like it has to go completely. And that's what Scorpio is about, the complete annihilation, in hopes of rebirthing something that does work for us, right? A new seed is planted. I do feel that new seeds will get planted. New energy. I'm feeling new energy. Some of you might be feeling lethargic at the moment, right? Some of you may be feeling sort of, you know, just wanting to be at home, or feeling sort of bottled up or walled up. But new seeds get planted. New seeds get planted for y'all. And there is this rebirth. There is this rebirth that occurs. And I do feel that there is a potentially, you know, either a new way of viewing love, right? Or maybe there comes this desire where, you know, our views on relationships changes, right? There's sort of this innocence returns. A clean slate is sort of drawn out for us. Obviously not entirely, right? Like we can never really become full clean slates. And I don't really desire that either. You know, I think that there are a lot of lessons, you know, that I've had to learn, easy ways and hard ways, but I wouldn't want to I want to hold on to those, right? Because I've had I had to learn those karmic lessons, and if I were to forget them and become a complete clean slate, I might have to relearn them, and I don't really want to go through that again, right? So there is value, right, to sort of acknowledging where you've come from, like acknowledging the roots of this, right? And this. But I do feel that there are new opportunities romantically. There are new opportunities. There are new offers potentially. I want to find more out about this Knight of Cups. Can I have more clarification on the Knight of Cups, please? Can you clarify the Knight of Cups for me, please? Can you clarify the Knight of Cups? I really enjoy doing the Sagittarius video. I think this has a lot to do with me being a Sag rising. 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands. Okay, so there's a new offer, right? It brings with it responsibility. It brings with it the recognition that for work to get done, there has to be sacrifice, right? In order for relationships, and also keep in mind, we're in Libra season, right? We are in Libra season. Libra season, Venus, 7th house, all that good stuff, relationships, harmonizing, all things beautiful. How do I get along with this person, right? But beneath that surface, right? Beneath that image of beauty, beneath that image of complete harmony with another human being, sacrifices were made. Sacrifices were made, right? We don't forget what happened in Virgo and just go into Libra, right? Like we got to Libra because Virgo sacrificed and did all the work and sussed out all the bullshit, right? All the things that were going to be cogs in the machine, right? All the things that were gonna jam up the machine, right? And took them all out. And it's like, these don't work, this doesn't work, that doesn't work. But somebody had to do that work. And now we're in Libra season and we get to enjoy the fruits of the beautiful labor, right? The fruits of the hard labor, the beautiful fruits of the hard labor, right? And so now Libra is like, oh, everything works really, really well. Yeah, of course, because Virgo went in and said, this don't work, that don't work. What are you doing? Stop that. Put that over there. Put that down. No, up higher, you know? Virgo went in and did all of that work, you know? So whatever lofty sort of, and I feel like that kind of transfers over to Sagittarius, where Sagittarius can also sort of adhere to or have sort of, I'm tired of saying the word lofty, but definite, you know, idealized, it's kind of romanticized, as realistic, as honest, right, as a Sagittarius can be. I also do feel, as personally myself being a Sag rising, that sometimes we can get, you know, being focused on the future and being incredibly optimistic, being ruled by Jupiter, which is all about good luck and optimism and the future, you know, that sometimes we can get a little bit wrapped up in the romanticism of things. And relationships especially, right? That we want a relationship, but then, you know, we feel that it kind of puts us in this cavern and we want to be mad at this person for why we're here. But relationships require sometimes some sacrifice, that we don't just get to do whatever we want to do in the relationship, right? That the relationship, yeah, it can look nice, but it also requires that sometimes we sacrifice doing all the things that we want to do if we really want to be with this person, right? That we, you know, and I feel like sacrifice is a harsh word. It's kind of like a trigger word for people, you know? Like it's a bad word. Like I shouldn't have to sacrifice anything. And it's like, no, actually, yeah, like you know, and I'm an Aquarius raised by Virgos, so I've seen people sacrifice all my life, you know, whether it was for me or for my brother or for, you know, the betterment of the family life and the home life. This was what I saw, right? I want to get some more clarity. Can I have more clarity on the Knight of Cups? The Moon. When is it? We have the full moon in Aries on the 5th. Full moon in Aries on the 5th. If I'm wrong, please correct me down below in the comments. I don't want to be giving out wrong dates and information. But, so we have Aries full moon happening on October 5th. And I feel that during that full moon, there are new, it can be a bit of an aggressive time, but what better time, right, than to take this new, what better time than to be able to sort of expend all this energy, right? It's a very energetic, sort of aggressive moon, full moon, when it's in Aries. I do see opportunities coming through for you, especially, you know, when it comes to love offers and romance. But still be mindful, right? Be mindful of, you know, because to me, the moon also represents those hidden parts about yourself. Okay, so, sorry, sometimes I have to like go in a circle to get to the point where I actually need to be. Offer coming in. There's work to be done regarding still, right? Even with this offer coming in. I think this offer gives you an opportunity to sort of work through some more hidden issues regarding relationships and how you view relationships. And the work that you're willing to sacrifice for relationships, right? And the moon, I really feel that especially on the Libra new moon on October 19th, again, if I'm wrong, I'm so sorry. But I know there's a full moon in Aries and there's going to be a new moon in Libra. And I feel like during the new moon in Libra, I feel like a bad astrologer right now, but I feel like during the new moon in Libra, there is going to be some wake-up calls into sort of the work that goes into balancing and harmonizing, right? With you know, loved, with romance choices or lovers, right? And remembering that, you know, yes, things can look really beautiful on the outside, but there was work that was done on the inside in order for it to get there in the first place. It took work. It took sacrifice. It took sitting still. It took, you know, not doing what you want to do and actually just doing what needs to get done, right? And again, that's what we see happening when we go from Virgo to Libra. We leave, you know, Virgo having taken out and purified something, and now we're in Libra and it's beautiful, right? But we forget where it came from. We forget all of the work that Virgo had to do to get it there. So don't forget that. Don't forget that. Like, yes, we can think about the future and we can really be focused on that star card that came up for you all that I now want to pull out, but, you know, I can't find because I have an entire deck of cards in my hand. But don't forget where things came from, right? Like, don't forget how things got to the state that they were in, and that even if you're in the state of like, well, I'm going to walk away from this fire sign here. Well, remember how you contributed to it even getting to this point. Can I get an outcome card for Sagittarius for October 2017? Temperance. There you all are. There you are. There you are. There you are. Harmonizing and balancing and being patient and dipping your toe in and doing the work. Y'all are doing it, right? Y'all are doing this synergizing of these energies. So I do feel that a lot of you are going to recognize what needs to sort of be done, right? With this moon, the death, the tower card, all here, sort of pointing to, while Jupiter being in your 12th house, in your subconscious, pointing to, hey, there are some, hang-ups and some things in your psyche that you're engaging in and doing that, that isn't working for you in your relationships, and the ways in which you merge with people, and the ways in which you harmonize with people. Something's not working. And I feel like it has a lot to do with, feeling, I don't want to, entitled, feeling, I'm a free spirit, I'm very independent, therefore I shouldn't have to do X, Y, and Z. And it's like, well, no, not necessarily. I mean, if this is what you want, right, then there has to be some sort of awakening or realization of, well, what do I have to do? What has to be done to keep this so pretty? No, it didn't just wake up like that. It didn't just wake up like that. It didn't. So there was work that was done. Right? But I do see you all sort of coming in, and this is the Sagittarius card. This is you all, and this is you all, I believe, in your highest, in your highest form, in your highest selves, right? Being able to synergize these two cups here. There are these two cups here. And whenever I see two cups, I automatically associate that with love and romance, right? And the balancing out of these two energies. So I see a lot of you definitely recognizing, oh, like, and not only that, but it doesn't, sorry, my computer fell asleep. It doesn't have to feel like this, right? That we can actually sort of readjust our way of thinking about it, and it can feel more like this. It's only work if you call it work, call it something else. Don't call it work. But yeah, that's your reading, Sagittarius. So I do see a balancing out of energies. I do see a shifting in the way of how you think about the effort that has to go into keeping a relationship balanced and harmonized, right? We're in that Libra season right now. So that's kind of what's going on. Yeah. So that's your reading, Sagittarius. And if you would like a personal reading, you can email me at tattoosandtarot@gmail.com, or you can go to tattoosandtarot.com and go to the reading section. And I hope you all enjoy this month, and we're getting closer to your birthday season. Yay! And all right, I'll see you all in November.